You got to understand that the time of the Gentiles, the time of the nations, is coming swiftly to an end. You see earthquakes on greater scale now than ever before. You see wars and rumors of wars greater scale now than ever before. There is so many signs of Matthew 24 on the wall that we just feel like that after November 7th, I feel like November 7th, and not that I care about the election, but I feel like November 7th is like that last little nail going in the coffin of this nation.
I've got one that can see.
Spellcasters and the entities they serve have decided to play the ultimate trump card.
This Enough is Enough card from the 1994-95 Illuminati card game is one of many that seemingly predict future events. Everything from 9/11, the Pentagon attacks, the pandemic, to this recent Trump assassination attempt.
If you look closely at the central figure, which eerily resembles Trump, it's framed by two triangles, one pointing up, the other pointing down, as above so below. But in between leaves a space resembling the trace of a speeding bullet whizzing by, right around ear level.
But a bright line in the sand, and we will protect you, that I can tell you, and we will say enough is enough.
This will finally be the year the American people say enough is enough. Enough is enough.
This is the year the American people say enough is enough.
And they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
This 30-year-old Enough is Enough card states, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. Yes, these cards are a medium for predictive programming, telegraphing the occult brotherhood's future plans. But they are also a form of divination, similar to tarot cards and other tools used by occultists who wish to peer through time and influence future events.
Let's look at July 13th and decode some of the esoteric symbolism of the day.
This particular BlackRock commercial, that's exactly what this is. BlackRock went to Pennsylvania and they filmed this commercial, and it just so happens that Thomas Matthew Crooks is in their commercial.
Police have already been alerted that there's a man climbing with a rifle on top of the roof. So 42 seconds before the president is shot, you can see the Secret Service sniper team prone position looking through their scopes in the direction of the shooter. Then about 6 minutes later, 42 seconds before the president is shot, they are now in a prone position using their scopes, taking aim at this individual across 150 yards from where the president is speaking. They see him clearly, they know that he has a long rifle, and they do not fire upon him. Why did they not take the shot? 42 seconds later, shots rang out and President Trump is hit. Why did they allow him to get off a shot? They see him on this roof. Why did they stand down? Why did they not do anything? Again, gross incompetence or an inside job?
This 42 seconds, spiritually, is very significant.
His parents have worked as professional counselors, according to public records.
Both of Thomas Crook's parents were social workers, a form of psychologist. MK Ultra was created by psychologists.
These funds have been earmarked for military spending.
The victim was in earshot of the assailant.
Spiritually, a wounded right ear is significant. Trump's right ear was pierced by a bullet, and the last time the mainstream media highlighted a wounded ear is when Tyson bit off Holyfield's right ear.
Oh my goodness, he's got a bloody right ear. Holyfield bit by a dirty Mike Tyson.
which has cannibalistic overtones. In the Bible, Leviticus 8:23, Moses put ram's blood on the right ear of Aaron the priest, and in John 18:10, Peter cut off the right ear of the high priest's servant. Given the nature of this assassination attempt being such a close call, it is not surprising that many who identify themselves as patriotic Christians are claiming that this is an act of God.
If you didn't believe in miracles before Saturday, you better be believing right now. Thank God.
Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Kamala Harris, who is now running for the presidency of the United States, has said to y'all the following. Check it out.
Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Say it with me. I'm not going to do something just for black people. No. She has said that she has not backed off of that. She has not wavered from that. She has continued on pretending that black people aren't asking for anything. And guess what? A lot of black supporters aren't asking her for anything. But I'm telling y'all, some of y'all who said maybe you're going to ride the couch and maybe you're thinking about it, we got to start listening to these people. She's told us, I'm not going to do nothing just for black people. Even though she's done things for everybody else but black people. She was there in the White House with Joe Biden. They put her over the border where they opened it wide open and let anybody and everybody want to come over here and get what there is to get. She did that.
All right, everyone. Welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. We'll take a look at this really disturbing video. It has been making the rounds, going viral. This is out in Aurora, Colorado, and it's one that is making headlines, of course, all over the country, where the mayor of Aurora says Venezuelan gangs are overrunning apartment buildings there as part of an organized criminal effort. Local police have called the incidents isolated, but surveillance video from at least one of the complexes is very startling, as you can see from this video right here. Now, we want to go on for more on this story.
Gangs in Chicago are angry over the influx of migrants and criminals in their city. They say money that should be going to the African-American community on the South Side is instead going to what they call non-citizens, and warn that turf wars between Chicago's gangs and groups like Venezuela's Tren de Agua could see Chicago, quote, go up in flames. We spoke to a number of young, hardcore gang members, as well as gang elders who have retired from the life, and just regular citizens who are very much part of the community. And they're all furious at the estimated $500 million that's reportedly been funneled toward new migrants in Chicago since 2022. And they aren't happy either about what they say are Venezuelan criminal gangs that are leaving the shelters and spilling out into the South Side into abandoned buildings. I spoke to Tyrone Muhammad of Ex-Cons for Trump, who runs a street patrol and violence prevention program. He's gone straight since his days as an enforcer for the Gangster Disciples. And he said the situation is very tense on the South Side as turf battles between the local gangs and Venezuelan migrants heat up.
It is impossible to release gang members and criminals into our country through the borders and broken walls, and then infiltrate them in our community that's already impoverished, that's already broken, that's already disinvested. And when the black gangs, the leadership in the black gangs in Chicago get fed up with the illegalities and the criminal activity of these migrants or non-citizens, the city of Chicago is going to go up in smoke, it's going to go up in flame, and there's going to be nothing that the National Guard or our government can do about it when the bloodshed hit the streets.
I finally actually talked to him on the translator app, and he told me all the things that he got going on, how they help him get a car, apartment, clothes, link. So it's just like, I just be looking at it like, they ain't got no social security number. Where they come from? He probably not even here legally.
They get right here, they get quick housing, quick funding, food, and getting cars with no license. They can't even read English and stuff like that. So they get all these perks when they get here, and we still here starving. So what we gonna do about it? Are y'all gonna listen to our cries?
The real issue is that America has allowed gangs to enter our country. Gangs that they would consider terrorist groups that are formed here. We are terrorist groups if we're in a gang. They let terrorists in our country.
The Reverend Corey Brooks also said to me he's disgusted with Democratic policies and said that Black Lives Matter, for example, has never reached out to help him or anyone else trying to improve conditions on the South Side.
Chicago is a blue city, and Illinois is a blue state. There's no doubt about it that the majority of our neighborhood, they're going to continue to vote Democrat until they wake up. The good news is that there are a lot of people who are responding and waking up and saying, listen, we're not going to take this. We're not going to stand for this. We're going to vote differently.
Alexa was caught, y'all, red-handed. Yeah, she trying to tell who to vote for. Check it out.
Why should I vote for Donald Trump?
I cannot provide content that promotes any political views.
Hey, Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
Why vote for Kamala Harris? Because you believe in her policies and her vision for the country. Because you trust her experience and her leadership skills. Because you want to continue moving forward as a nation and make progress on issues that matter to you, like healthcare, education, equality, and justice.
Hey, Alexa, why should I not vote for Donald Trump?
There are several reasons why you may not want to vote for Donald Trump. Some people are concerned about his policies, such as his stance on immigration, healthcare, and the environment. Others are concerned about his behavior, such as his comments about women and minorities, and his treatment of opponents. Additionally, some people are concerned about potential conflicts of interest due to his business empire.
Hey, Alexa, why should I not vote for Kamala Harris?
I cannot provide content that insults another human being.
It's unbelievable.
So, Jeff Bezos, not only have you fired 100,000 employees because you got robots running your factories now. How you just gonna put people out on the streets and plug in robots? Yeah, you're definitely not a people person. Somebody need to put a lawsuit against that mother company for having Alexa tell us to vote for. Biased. We'll be right back.
You got to understand that the time of the Gentiles, the time of the nations, is coming swiftly to an end. You see earthquakes on greater scale now than ever before. You see wars and rumors of wars greater scale now than ever before. There is so many signs of Matthew 24 on the wall that we honestly would need a checklist for me to set before me right now and go down through it note for note to make sure I don't miss anything, because it's that much going on. I mean, like, there's pagans literally talking about the river Euphrates. There's people that are non-believers talking about the river Euphrates drying up. And even if you think that the United States of America is the old land, all right, the old world, and the river Euphrates is Mississippi, guess what? We're all covered. It's drying up too, from what they've said. It's the river level's been the lowest it's ever been. So, I mean, I got you covered, bro, okay? So, I'm not trying to take shots at nobody. I'm just saying, like, we get like all these debates that we're all having or studying or kind of confused on or whatever the case may be, man. Like, it's getting so wild out here, you can almost cover it on all bases. So just rest easy. But the melting down of this country, I almost feel like that, you see, I always get these, like, I wouldn't say they're premonitions, but like these feelings that before things happen. I've been getting dreams it is nuts how many dreams I get when I sleep anymore. And I just feel like that after November 7th, I feel like November 7th, and not that I care about the election, but I feel like November 7th is like that last little nail going in the coffin of this nation. And it is the solidification of how the death will be. Like, I feel like this republic is dead. Okay, like, you understand, November 7th, the life support gets pulled. Like, we're on life support at this moment, okay? And what's going to happen is we just going to know which way this republic will die, okay? That'll be settled out.
Ben wants to know, I'd like to know if Natalie and Clayton are preppers. To a degree.
Yes, in the protection of our family, making sure that we have certain medicines on standby and things like that, right?
I have a backlog of Neosporin at all times,
Yes,
you
true.
guys. With me as always. This is not a commercial for Neosporin. It's just a very ingrained habit.
Well, you might need it for our next story. Well, a stunning development coming from Capitol Hill. So we are just over 40 days away from arguably the most important election in American history. And now Congress is pushing forward a proposed 28th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. A new amendment right now, 40 days before the election. You can't make this up. It used to be that the deep state forces sort of operated in the shadows. We didn't know what they were doing. And now they're operating sort of right out in the public, force feeding information right to our members of Congress and force feeding it to the Mockingbird media. Congress is openly telling us right now that they are prepping for a mass casualty event in Washington, D.C. Yes, mass assassinations of our members of Congress. I'm talking over 100 members of Congress killed in a single event. They're preparing for it, according to the Washington Post, and now confirmed by Politico. A bipartisan group of congressmen are suddenly concerned about the nation's preparedness for a catastrophic event. They're rolling out a plan for the 28th Amendment called the Continuity Amendment. Continuity of Government Amendment. So get this. They would allow members of Congress to be rapidly replaced in the event that 100 or more of them are suddenly killed. Because when you see these headlines from like the Washington Post and you read these stories from Politico, I want all of you to like go a layer deeper. Like, what's the real goal here? First of all, it's to scare you, number one, right? That's what they're hoping to do, to scare you. Who knows if there's some sort of a false flag? Who the hell knows? Anyway, their main goal is to scare you. And then you want to go a layer deeper and find out exactly what they're trying to do here. So if 100 members of Congress are suddenly killed, no election would be needed, according to this new continuity of government plan. No election. Instead, no voters involved in a mass change of our government. Not at all. No voters allowed. Sound familiar? Like, I don't know, the Obama coup that just removed President Biden from the ticket from running for office again without any voting by Democratic voters, placed Kamala Harris as the presumptive nominee.
Yes.
Sound familiar?
That happened
No
in the year
voters.
2024.
We had a coup in the United States a few weeks ago. A Democratic coup in the United States a few weeks ago. And they removed a sitting president from the ticket, replaced him with their new puppet. And they did it all without you voting anything. It's amazing, actually. Sounds like something you'd hear about in North Korea, and we'd be mocking it. But no, it happened right here.
Law enforcement leaders say you should be packing heat.
Fox 35's Brian Scott is here now with more on this bold suggestion. Brian?
Yeah, 3 sheriffs in the area are now standing together on this one, saying terrorists, active shooter, whatever the situation, they want citizens ready to step up.
If you're not afraid of a gun, get one.
The message from Polk County's top cop, crystal clear.
Become proficient. Get a concealed firearms license and carry it. And if you need to shoot somebody, shoot them a lot.
Sheriff Grady Judd's going public today with his response to attacks around the world and here at home, telling citizens they need to step up.
The armed assailant doesn't plan on you fighting back. He plans on having a gun, doing all the shooting, and you're just the sitting duck, where the ducks need to shoot back.
And if not a gun, something to defend yourself and those around you. A bold stance.
Be prepared to serve as the first line of defense.
Very similar to the one Brevard Sheriff Wayne Ivey went viral with 2 weeks ago. That video now up to nearly 500,000 views.
No matter who you are, what your position is on guns, there's no denying the fact that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun or a knife is an armed and well-prepared citizen or law enforcement officer.
And tonight, Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood is also stepping up. He tells me he backs Judd and Ivey on this one completely, adding, there's not enough police in America to stop all of these threats. Just one citizen stepping up, he says, could make the difference.
God says, repent. God says, return to him. God says, we're going to war. I got you, God. Be my voice, Father. In the mighty name of Yahweh, I speak healing over my voice, Father. May I ring out to your people. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whosoever will believe in him will not perish. God says we're going to war. God says your weed and your drugs won't save you. God says repent. God says very soon there will be soldiers everywhere. God says that you are the lost tribe of Israel. God says, return unto my children. Return to God. Seek God's face while he still may be found. Repent, O Israel. Run to God, children of the Most High God. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob reigns. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob lives. God says, repent. God says that you are the lost tribe of Israel. God says, seek his face. God says that this land is no longer called a land of Tophet. God says that this land is now called a land of slaughter. God says your fornication. God says your promiscuity has reached unto his altar as an insult for him sending his son to die on the cross for you. God says he's bringing wrath to this land, and you're the lucky ones because you're getting the message. God says repent.
В части определения условий применения ядерного оружия. Обновленной редакции документа.
The updated version of the document proposes that aggression against Russia by any non-nuclear weapon state, but with the participation or support of a nuclear weapon state, should be regarded as a joint attack on the Russian Federation. The conditions for Russia's transition to the use of nuclear weapons are also clearly defined. We will consider such a possibility as soon as we receive reliable information about a massive launch of aerospace attack means and their crossing of our state border, meaning strategic or tactical aircraft, cruise missiles, drones, hypersonic missiles, and other aircraft.
Беспилотники, гиперзвуковые и другие летательные аппараты. Являем за собой право.
We reserve the right to use nuclear weapons in the event of aggression against Russia and Belarus as a member of the Union state. All these issues have been agreed upon with the Belarusian side and with the president of Belarus. This includes cases when the enemy, using conventional weapons, poses a critical threat to our sovereignty.
Угрозу нашему суверенитету.
Okay? God, fire, water, food, guns and ammo, stuff to trade. All right? I love y'all. God bless you. Stay safe out there.
Messiah coming back for the house of Jacob. What?
Down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism. There are no limits.
It figures it would be something like this.
Our nation, our ideals of vision.
Excuse me.
Just survive.
You know, you look like your head fell on the cheese dip back in 1957. You're okay. This one? Ugly. Oh. You see, I take these glasses off. She looks like a regular person, doesn't she, huh? Put them back on. Formaldehyde face. That's what we got.
That's enough out of you. You get out or I call the cops.
Call the cops? You know what you need? You need a Brazilian plastic surgeon.
I've got one that can see.
He's a tall Caucasian male, doesn't appear armed, wearing sunglasses.
I don't like this one bit. Not one bit.